he said that they were evidently done with that because they were pulling the board crew out. They were going to dig some 30-foot stuff.
Oh, maybe they are gonna dig the deeper stuff too.
That was a huge excavator. Well, the rest of the parts were on 2 semi-trailers behind him.
So yeah.
Back by,
could be there.
yeah,
Yeah, they come down Division, and lucky enough, they were pretty decent, because he stopped, he says, how long has that concrete been poured? I said, since Thursday. He said, this machine weighs 155,000 pounds.
Did he turn around and go a different way?
Mm-mm. We moved the barricades over, let him drive over the other broken side.
Got you.
Call this meeting over Stuart City Council tentative agenda Monday, August 14, 2023, 6 p.m. Council chambers called to order. Patrick.
Here.
Dolly.
Here.
Kaba.
Here.
Morgan. Here. Renslow.
Here.
Agenda approval, consent agenda approval 7/10/2023. Approval of financial statements as of 7/31/2023. Approval of bills as presented. Approval of liquor license. Approval of outdoor liquor license. Approval of outdoor liquor license. All of them. So need a motion to approve the agenda.
so moved.
Dr. Patrick, second by Morgan. How do you vote? Patrick?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Kaba?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Renzo?
No.
Okay, Public Works Department, new hire, Jim.
Yes, we conducted 5 interviews 2 weeks ago, and the candidate that we have selected is a Mason Barkley. Currently, he lives in Perry with plans of relocating at a starting salary of $20 per hour.
Does he have any experience?
He's got a lot of equipment experience: excavator, track hoe, backhoe, skid loader.
What kind of time frame did you give him to get
Well,
called?
To do what?
To move.
By inclement weather, by winter time.
Oh, okay, okay.
His girlfriend lives down this way, so they're gonna get.
So we need a motion. I got a question before you leave.
What's the, it's what we advertised for?
Yes, for $20 an
He
hour.
was good with all that,
Yes, correct.
it's recommended, but we're good with it.
Need a motion.
I'll move that.
Moved by Dolly,
Second.
second by Renzo. How do you vote? Patrick?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Kaba?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Okay, real quick, Jim,
Yep.
can you give the council update on Peasley and Swinger on the tree removal?
When I touched base with both of them after the award of the bids, John gave me the indication that it would be mid to late August before he started. And I just talked to Nick again today, and Nick plans on starting on his part of them into this week.
Okay,
And I think once they get in and get going, it won't take them a whole long time. I would say both of them probably be done within 30 days, I would guess.
okay.
If they're not, can you just put a little in your update?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Then we know. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
And just so the council knows, Jim and Corey said they're pretty tied up, so I'm having Swinger possibly take care of Hardman's places Friday on the cleanup. He said, he'd give me a quote, and I said it's gotta be under $500.
Not
Okay,
whose?
what?
Whose place?
Hardman's
Is that the place on North Division?
division. But I can't touch anything on the porch until I get another okay from the lawyer. Dave. Okay, what wages, you gonna talk about that?
Tabled the item from last meeting to this meeting. Put in the back. The research that we've done, and towns around us, how much they make. Last meeting we proposed $2 increase for Cooley and $3 for Jim. And the council needed some time to think about it.
And that's what they just got.
Yeah, he got 4%, start July 1st.
Do you just need a motion? Is that what you're waiting
If
on?
you're good with it.
Last month we talked about just like the different, wasn't it? You come in at this and then if you get this, it's an automatic pay bump, right? So on and so forth.
Staff, yeah.
And Corey should be, is he got his grade 2 yet?
No, he is at a grade 1 currently.
But if he gets his grade 2, he gets a bump.
Correct.
$2 an hour, is that what you said, Ash?
Does he have any time? Did we set any time limits on Corey? Or how long has he been trying to get his grade
He
2?
tried once.
He's probably been on that track for probably, I would say 8 months, Corey.
8 months. Okay. I would probably say if he gets his grade 2, then yeah, we'd probably bump him up. Maybe give him a little incentive to get it done. I'm sure the tests are hard. I heard they're very difficult, but might give him a little incentive to get rolling on that, I guess. See what he can do. And maybe he can only take the test at certain times of the year. I don't know. Is that true, Jim, or how?
Now, he can take it anytime,
At
again
any
now.
time?
What's the cost each time he takes it?
No matter what, you remember how much.
He has been paying those fees himself. It's $30 to take the test.
Oh, the city doesn't pay.
Is there classes available for him or does he?
And does he take those
Yes.
classes too? And he
Yes,
pays
yeah.
for those as well?
He has. No, the city paid for his, it's a refresher course.
No, okay. Yeah, I'd say for Corey part of it, if he gets his grade 2, I'd be okay to bump him up to $2. Like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that might be a low incentive to get going on that. But Jim's wages is still out there that we haven't talked about, I guess.
Ash, I mean, are we fine with financially?
We'll be considering that we just hired a new person.
Because I get it's hard because we hired someone, so we're gonna pay Jim and Corey less in certain areas because
That's very much how I look at it. The comp time would be,
I'm sure it's somewhat of a wash.
yes, the comp time will be cut down, big time.
Right.
And we're gonna apply that to the raise that you're gonna give. That's how the plan is supposed to work.
And who came up with these? Was this your recommendation, Jim's recommendation? Was it
It
both?
started it with the mayor two meetings ago. He came and proposed $1 raise, and then we said, we're gonna go back and sit with Jim and try to see what makes him happy. And then Jim proposed to have $2 for him, for Corey, $3 for himself. Came back to you with the information that was requested, comparison between other towns and all this stuff.
And how
then the
much, sorry, go ahead.
And the council wanted another month to save money.
And right now, they each make, Jim makes 33 and Corey 21,
And how much does Corey get when he gets his grade 2?
$2.
$2.
That
So
would,
he'll get,
that would put him at the, well, it should put him at the street 2, wastewater 2 level, but that's your call, not mine.
so if we did it all, he gets a $2 raise now and then he gets a $2 raise when he gets his grade 2. Which is
Yes.
4, which
Yes.
I agree.
That's not what I was talking about.
No.
But no, I'm saying, hypothetically, if everybody got what they wanted, that's what you're looking at, $2 now, $2 then. And you're
Jim,
looking
how
at
many
just
years you
2
got
and-
in? for just the street side.
19.
19, yeah, and that's what we've never, I mean, one time we gave a bump to different people, but we've never really done a longevity raise either.
One thing we need to take in consideration, I mean, I'm not saying Jim and Corey's not worth the money, because they do amazing work and they're very busy. I understand that, but this is gonna kind of open up a can of worms, and I think we're going down that path already, because the police department came in and said, we want more money. Now, here we are with this. I mean, I think every department's gonna start walking in there like,
Well, you've already got it with rescue.
yeah,
I mean,
And this really started because of upping the starting salary to get someone.
right,
And then it's like, well, man, if we're gonna pay the new guy this much, X amount.
Yeah.
What about the guys that have been working here? You know, you can't just start someone at or below or, you know, barely so.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a little bit different maybe in that regard, but we're gonna be hiring other people and we're gonna be in the same boat.
And
As
we
well.
did
But I-
have one fairly qualified guy in Barnhouse, he only worked 2 weeks and quit because he found a job out Diamond Head.
but I also think that if you look overall, Stuart is behind. Like on all of our wages, we're behind what everybody else is. And that's nobody's fault. I'm just saying, if you look at, you know, when we did the police stuff, we looked at the county rates versus our cops rate, and we were way low. You look at rescues, it's the same thing. You look at Jim compared to other towns, I mean, it's all the same. We're behind. And we're having to play catch up. And because we did such a huge jump with the police, now everybody else is coming and saying, well, you did it for one.
right. And I think at some point, we just need to get everybody at a comfortable level and have procedures in place where, you know, you do this is where you're at, and just have, you know, personal evaluations. So, I mean, do we start here with this, or do we start looking at the whole city as a whole and start getting us there?
This performance evaluation's been going on I've been on the council 4 years, so at least 3 years. That it gets talked about and then forgot about, and talked about and forgot about.
Well, at some
I
point,
think we
we're
need to set
gonna
goals for
have to.
ourselves and say,
right.
by this council meeting, we need to have a draft of something. And at this council meeting, we need to, and set up.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in
Go
real
ahead,
quick?
Mike.
As far as the performance evaluation, I mean, it's up to a majority of the council on how you want to do it. I would just recommend that we keep in mind that the one person that we need to evaluate would be the city administrator on that, and they need to be evaluating people under their watch who they supervise. It doesn't mean that, you know, we can't ask for, you know, or come in and sit with them and have them show those evaluations privately, so it's not brought up, just so we have something that shows that this stuff is being done. I don't know if the council wants to wade into reviewing every single employee though, so just keep that in mind.
I don't think that was the intention by talking about that.
I agree with you, Mike. I don't think it's the council's best interest to go to every employee and look at that. I totally agree with you on that. We're gonna have to start somewhere and fix these wages and just be done. So we're not every month, rescue or the public works, or, you know, they're not all coming in here and saying, hey, we need bumped up for this. At some point, I'm not saying that anybody is bossing us around by no means, but at some point, we're gonna have to kind of take control over that. And this is your raise every year, and that's what you get.
I think a lot of that has to do maybe too, a concern is that we have our budget workshops and we discuss everything, and then it's after everything's settled, then we start talking about, you know, where the wages need to be. So it's in addition to any increase. So, you know, I think that's up to us too, to say, you know, this needs to be talked about at the right time, and once it's done until the next year that we talk about it. I don't know, I just want to throw that out there also.
Yep, I agree with you on that.
Going back to this, when would this pay start? immediately when the new guy starts?
This is
Or
immediate,
next?
because like it was mentioned by Mike and others, that we have increased the wages 4% start July 1st for everyone. What we do after that is immediately, it's not gonna,
So- Could we go with Jim's raise and then maybe give Corey $1 and then he'll get his $2 when he passes his grade 2? So you give him at least a little bit of a raise because he has been plugging away with short hands, but then you also, to get that extra raise, he needs to pass his grade 2.
I would probably disagree with that, because then essentially you're giving him a 3%, or not a 3%, sorry, $3 raise, which equivalents, Jim, what he was asking for. But that's my 2 cents.
Jim, just something. I have a grade 1 or nothing?
No, he would be fresh start. And to take a grade 1, he would have to have, excuse me, he would have to have 6 months in service, and he would also have to have a 30-hour basic wastewater class before he could actually take a grade 1 test.
That's where I kind of struggle a little bit, because Corey's put some time in and not much above the pay of a good person.
So what are you saying, James? Putting you on the
I
spot.
kind of like Christine's idea a little bit, just to give him a bump as a way, for being loyal, staying, putting his time in. But maybe not all of it.
Will that guy get, maybe it's here and I'm not seeing it, what's the pay bump for,
There's not one.
to grade 1?
Yeah, if you have the same sheet that I have,
yes,
at the bottom where it says Street 1, Wastewater 1, that was the number I came up with for a grade 1 wastewater operator. Street 2, Wastewater 2, there's a salary there.
Jim, where's it
Hold
at?
on, John.
Well,
We don't have the same sheet.
That's at the very bottom of the page. Do
No.
they have the same page,
No.
Ash?
nope,
Oh,
you got-
No. I think we had that last month.
you had
We
it
don't
last month,
have
sir,
it.
this was a.
That's what I was saying, like, okay,
Yeah.
what's the,
You had it last month.
if they're gonna pass a test and move up a grade, like Corey's saying, we just need to have a spreadsheet that says, this is where you come in, this is what we're paying. If you come in and you have a grade 2, this is what we're, just,
can I just go,
and
can I
then,
make a copy of yours?
we need to do that.
Unfortunately for Corey,
Where we can at least see it.
so say somebody walks in here, excuse me, say a grade 3 off the street, he's already has a grade 3. He's gonna be over Corey.
That would be expected.
Yeah.
I kind of follow this, it's kind of along the lines of economic development. I periodically get newsletters from different organizations. And I'm going to summarize and compile a list of information I've received. But a lot of businesses and cities had to increase by 8% over the last year. As an example, the city of Stuart had an increase that's still 4% behind the standard. So just a little FYI there. We've always been, Stuart has always been a conservative community, almost to the point that it's a detriment. And so since COVID, the labor market shortage, the employers have had to increase by 8%. So I guess take that for what it's worth.
Thanks, man.
he's got a wastewater one, right, Corey?
Corey does.
Yes.
Yeah, so if we gave him the $2 increase, he'd be just short of what is listed on this. So he'd be at 23.28.
So he's working on his wastewater 2 right now, correct?
Yeah, so then if he got that, you'd bump up that $2 to get him almost to the 25.50. So he'd be on par, like you were saying, like if someone came in with that, yeah, they would be making more than him, but it'd only be 22 cents.
But they have their certification. I mean, I like the way he has got this. It makes it a lot easier to have set.
I'm good with that. I just, like I said, I just don't want other departments start walking in there month after month after month. I mean, if we set this, we're done until we talk about budget things again.
You only got 3 more departments.
Well, and Nashville only got so big a checkbook.
I know. I'll make a
What-
motion. Oh,
Oh, sorry. What's your thoughts, Mike?
Well, you can't see
He
this,
can't see
but-
this.
Right.
Yeah, that's all right. I was, when we discussed it last time, with, giving both Jim and Corey, that, increase, I can't remember what it was, like 3 and 2 or something like that. And then if he gets his grade, if he ups a grade, then he gets another increase. I'm fine with all that. Myself on there, so. But the biggest thing is I agree that we don't do this month after month after month. That's the biggest kickers. I know we had to do it here because, struggling to get somebody in. Don't have an issue with that, but it really needs to be addressed by department heads, during budget time and just settled at that point.
So can I make a motion to adopt what Jim has set out and make that permanent? So if we have a structure going forward, if somebody leaves or whatever.
Okay, we wanna make it clear, so Jim will get $3 per hour
Well,
and
right here,
Corey $2 per hour.
Jim would go to what he has here. And, right? I mean, that's,
I think what Christina's saying is she's just gonna go jump them to whatever
I
this
like
is.
this.
So if someone does come in, it'd be. the
it's
exact
nice
same.
and it's straightforward.
It's done.
So he's
It's
going
done.
from 33 to 36.
Yes.
He's going from 33.10 to 36, right?
Yep.
Okay,
And it's just nice and clean and we have,
Corey would go
we have
from
this structure.
21.28 to 20.
So if by some reason this new guy leaves and we need to look at something else, we have a structure to know where we need
It's
to.
started, yeah.
So my motion is to adopt that framework.
Corey would be 21, 27 plus.
No,
That's what he was, now it'd be.
Do you just want my
23.50.
sheet here so you have it?
okay, so
Do
Jim
you
will
want
have,
that, Sarah?
Jim will be 36, Corey will be 23.50.
yes,
Moved by Rensselaer,
Second.
seconded by
Morgan,
Morgan. So how you vote, Patrick,
Yes.
Dolly,
yes.
Kaba,
Yes,
Morgan,
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Okay. 5, traffic enforcement. Dave said that the person put up armadillos around the town of Stuart, and some of them misfunctioned. So he's have to reset their phones. That's to check the speed. And nothing to do with Dave. I mean, the company's gotta get that before we can move on with the
Well,
process.
can I,
Yeah?
I've asked for this to be on the agenda time and time again, so we can make a decision. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw something out there. I would like to make a motion to go with the first company to put directly underneath the interstate. So that way, people coming, it's not gonna deter people from coming into town because by that point, they're gonna be on exits. And it's gonna help slow people down. We have the ability to adjust whether we want it 10 or 15 over. I mean, you get that choice, but we're not having any money into this. And accidents out there are getting bad and people need to slow down. So that's my motion.
But if you do that, then that It's your portable unit from around town.
I don't think we need a portable unit around town. My motion is to go with the first company and start working on a contract for the ones directly underneath the interstate. And that's,
I think if we're gonna go that far, we need to probably bring the DOT in and hear their side of it.
well, I think they work with the DOT too, is the way the guy said. They work on all that, and then if it doesn't work out with the DOT, then they stop, but they take care of all of that.
Well, I'm saying, listen from the DOT standpoint of the other side of it. We've heard the salesman, I think we need to hear.
But we've been dragging this on for how long? And we said after legislation was over, we would make a decision.
Well,
And
I
we're
could
dragging our feet time and time, in every meeting, we have to wait for this, we have to
I
wait for
could line
this.
up the DOT to come in and have a meeting, but I can't do it on a Friday when we get our packets because I have no idea it's on the agenda.
I think that's,
And I think
I
that's
think
short
that's-
notice to have somebody come in.
I think that's true for a lot of things on this agenda, but
What
it's
was,
still not stopping us from continuing.
Mayor, did they have a time frame for these?
No, he's trying to reset them up. That's what
They
he's
don't.
doing.
And he's just got them stationed around town. Is that what they have?
And my issue with that is why, if you're gonna have speed cameras, why are you penalizing your citizens?
Well, you just said the speed's a factor and everybody needs to slow down.
Well, they do need to slow down, but you have town cops in town to help adjust those speeds.
I'll make it easier, my perspective, I'm just not a proponent, period, of them, so I'm kind of sad of the conversation.
I mean, I don't wanna put our cops on the spot here, but, I mean, can you two gentlemen tell me how many times you see people going over 90 miles an hour on the interstate?
Every night? Just out of
I don't know why we're out there.
Because that's part of our district. If there's an accident underneath that bridge, who's the first person to be called? Our officers.
I get it, but just have our officers sitting out there. I witnessed one of our officers trying to find and locate a subject clear over by DeSoto. And I only knew that because I have a radio, I can hear exactly what's going on.
Would
And they're
that
going eastbound by DeSoto.
be because they were chasing them?
No, they had no idea. Well, they had an idea who they were looking for. They were just going down the interstate trying to find this person.
when was that?
That was Daniel. And that was a couple months ago.
We're kind of getting off subject.
Yeah, so
Christina
anyways,
made a motion.
that was my motion.
If there's no second, then it dies. Dies for no second.
All right, well then I guess our next step is to have DOT come in and explain to us why they think.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Go ahead, Mike.
So Corey, I'm just gonna direct it to you since you're with the DOT.
Sure.
Would we be able to put cameras on the bridge, do you think? I mean, just your opinion. I know you can't say yes or no, but just your opinion.
I have brought this up in a meeting, and our traffic engineer didn't say yes or no. There is a permit process. I asked that engineer if there was any traffic cameras on the interstate and rural areas in the state of Iowa, and he said no, there is not. In town, like Des Moines, yes, Cedar Rapids, yes, and like in town, but out in rural areas, like out here, he said no.
Right.
He didn't, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying, and I'm just spitballing things here. I don't know, if we can't put them on the bridge, let's say we just can't, what would we do? Is this something that, and I know it's another wrinkle, but if we worked with the utilities and, if I don't know if, see, I just don't know, because it's been so long. Christina's right, it's been so long. Like if they put a pole out there, we leased it from them, somehow we had a partnership with them to put those up. If we can't, put them on the bridge or anything, I don't know if they have to have power run directly to them, or what,
But isn't there power already out there for streetlights and DOT cameras and everything else? I mean, I think the utilities are already there.
Okay. But I'm just saying, if we didn't have, any way to get them on a bridge or anything, would they be able to work with us, and help us out? Maybe put a pole up there and we got some sharing of responsibility, et cetera,
I think
between utilities and stuff.
if you remember right, Mike, I think that company said they take care of all of it.
Do they? Okay,
They
that's
take care
fine.
of
I just,
everything. We
yeah,
don't have to
it's
do
been so
anything.
long, like you said.
It has been a long time.
On it, on there. I know, I'll just put in my 2 cents. I know one thing, the first company, there's nothing wrong with either company. The big thing with the first company is it is a 5-year contract. The second company is a 2-year contract. They do have, the second company, they do give you a portable. The one reason I like the portable is you do have an officer's presence wherever that may be, on the off ramp, on ramp, wherever they need to be. They're actually picking out, the cars and stuff. And it works on the same basis. There's a few extra steps. I understand that. But that's just my liking, as it does show that we have some, officer involvement out there. It's just not a, boom, you got your picture taken, et
Mike,
cetera.
what would be the difference between that and the cop being out there as it is now? There's no difference.
What's that?
There's no difference between that company having the cop out there with the portable and the fact that he's already out there anyways in his patrol car. It's the same thing.
No, they don't have to stop them with this company like they do when they're out there now. They just take a photo and it sends it off.
But it's to help. I think this other company, it helps you take that weight off of them so they're not constantly having to be out there. They can be patrolling our town and our streets and helping out a little more there without having to be out.
Now, and I agree with that. I just, time of day, whatever the reason is, I don't see them out on the interstate that often. Again, time of day, work, whatever.
Well, I think it's more of
I
our
didn't
night
know
cops.
they had a schedule that they went out and worked on there, et cetera. But I agree, we just need to get it, bring it to a head and vote it either one way or the other, on there, so.
I think that second company, that with the portable, I think the big perk was that the company paid for that officer's time too,
Yes.
while he was doing that. So you're having another person on duty, but not on the city's expense. And they
Right.
actually get a paid bump from the city's expense. They get paid like time and a half by the company, and they're still out and about. And if they see something not involving, a speed violation, they just simply like clock out or however that works. I don't know, I'm not an expert. And then they go take care of it. So they're still on patrol, but the city's not paying for them on patrol. And the benefit for the cop is they're actually getting paid more. That's what Prairie
Seems a
City
lot
did.
of back and forth and more extra resources. I mean, you're gonna need an extra cop to be able to do that. I mean, could you,
Prairie City has two people. I know that was his big thing that when I talked to him was they fight over who gets to do the portable because they get paid more. And they enjoy, obviously they end up getting paid more.
But on that first company, didn't they say that the officer would have to go through all that stuff
Both
as
ways,
well?
they got an officer needs
Both
to
ways,
accept
yeah.
or deny or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
they don't have to do it immediately.
Yeah.
They do it.
But that first company didn't pay.
no,
That
but they
second
could
company.
sit here and they could sit here and watch the 4-way and do
Yeah,
tickets
yeah.
Well, they
at the
can,
same time.
Yeah.
And they said it's just an approve or deny.
Yeah.
Shane's got something, Dick. Officer Martinson has a.
Yes.
If what you're saying is correct about, the officers getting paid for being out there doing that thing, that's a lot like what, we do now already for the GTSB, which is the Traffic Safety Bureau. So it wouldn't be any different than that.
Yeah. or whatever it is, but it's gotta be an efficient way of doing it.
You basically put in as much time as you want or whatever, and then, yeah, I mean, with the GTSB stuff, sometimes it's specifically just seatbelts, and then otherwise after that it's a general scope of basically everything. So it's basically the same thing as what you're talking about.
So can
Which
we
we already
at
do.
least agree that we can get Chief Rehag here with the information from the second company and get the DOT and let Corey know at least a couple weeks ahead of time so he can, and we can talk about this, be done with it, make a decision.
Or if we just table it till next month,
That's what I'm saying, whether it's next month or 2 months, but just make sure all the information is together for one meeting so we can make a decision.
Okay, done talking.
Tabling, okay, we table to next month.
Okay,
Or 2 months if we can't get everybody in one.
okay, 6, safe routes to school partial payment. Forrest,
So this is just a partial payment estimate. They're about 25% complete. They're continuing to do work. So this is a partial payment estimate for about $69,000.
First, are they giving the citizens more, are they communicating with them more to let them know when they're doing things so vehicles aren't being stuck in garages?
Yes, we've been after them a lot.
Okay, because I know,
We had that issue
I had
last month.
yeah, and his vehicle was stuck for 4 days and couldn't get it out, which is not,
Have not heard of any issues with that lately.
okay.
so we need a motion on this.
Need a motion.
I'll move that.
Second by Dolly, how do you go? Patrick,
yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Kava,
Yes,
Morgan,
Yes.
Renslow.
Yes,
Okay, next change order, I'm gonna have Brandy Coyle talk and then I'll let you talk. Forrest,
Okay.
on the change order.
Sure.
That'll work.
We just thought, sure, we can do that.
Alright, I just have some pictures just because I'm
Thank you.
visual, it's easier to see. Sorry, Mike, I didn't realize you weren't gonna be here. I think you can share that.
it's okay.
does Jim have one? I can look at his if I need to.
Okay.
Just say,
Jim Henderson needs one.
when you hold it up there. Mike?
I'm gonna mess that up. Christina, I do have one somewhere. Okay, so just to kind of provide some background into this. So I know this project has been going on for a while. And so the first picture that you see here is actually, I got it from August 2011. So this is just kind of where this has stemmed from and why we're having kind of a problem with this. So this is our driveway for our garage, 2011, so years ago. And you can kind of see, so the driveway, the concrete comes to kind of a point right up here. And then we do have gravel over here because it doesn't really make sense as far as what it is. So years that we've had it like that. When this first was happening, a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever, we were at the point of ready to pave our driveway. And we were told by B&K, don't, because they're going to be doing it and they'd have to tear up the concrete that we put in anyways. So we held off on the project. So the next picture you can see is actually it's where they have paved our driveway. And basically they went with the driveway and they cut it off to where that point in the concrete is. So it doesn't even go to the end of our garage door. And so basically we have this driveway that's not even aligned to our garage, which again, if we would have done it beforehand, if we would have had it done, we would have had concrete all the way over like we wanted to 2 years ago, but we were told to wait. The next one just shows you a little bit better that you can see there's an orange line. So that's the streamline that's basically going from the garage door. So you can see how far off the concrete is from even being to where the garage door is, which doesn't make a lot of sense for us. As far as backing out of your driveway, your garage door is offset from where the driveway is even.
Is that space eventually gonna be filled in with the sidewalk?
There will be the 4-foot section there, but
So,
not.
but it'll come across and go, so that hole that looks like there
It will have,
will be a sidewalk.
so because of how it cuts at an angle,
Just.
so there will be an
Okay.
angle, and then there will be a sidewalk, but then we'll probably have like 10 foot on one side and probably about 5 foot on the other side that's not filled in. And so that was our first problem kind of with that. And, there is an email at the back that going back and forth as far as explaining. And we were told that at the time of the survey, the Greenville service was approximately 24 foot. and they went to the tapered edge. Architect, I'm not an engineer, so me understanding what they were going to do and that they were going to go to the tapered edge and not even go to where my garage door was, I wouldn't have known that by looking at plans as far as what it is. So, and that's not even a change order. So this is just kind of background into first thing that with this project, it's upsetting for us to all of a sudden have this driveway paved, but now if we want to fix that, we would have to ask for a variance and also tear up and redo stuff that was already done. So the next picture shows you our driveway from about 2 years ago. So this is a Google view. This is basically what was utilized. So the measurements that were utilized for this project are from 2 years ago. There were not new measurements taken when it was reinstituted with the project. The next one is this, and so this shows the plans. Again, this is how the red portion is a 24-foot portion. Our driveway on the other one is 46 foot. So basically with this project, they want to almost put in half of what our existing driveway is. Again, a problem because we live on an acreage. We live on basically the edge of town. I get that there's other things there, but that's the existing driveway that we had in place. And then the last one is that we were told the city code is silent as far as driveways. So there's nothing in the city. We were told that they go to suit us, which is completely understandable. But the two other driveways, so our house next to us and the following, both of them had exceptions made to go above the 24 foot. So, and we were told that one was because it was paved and the other was a shared driveway. It's exceptions though. Our existing driveway, although it was gravel, still above 24 foot. I don't know why the exception was not made to meet the requirements of what our driveway was in the first place. So basically at this point, the change order, there's 3 options there, which I'm sure that B&K will go over. But the options that we would like to have is either option 1, that we don't want it paved. The sidewalk can go through, but we do not want it paved for our second driveway. Because we don't want a 24-foot driveway paved in our 46-foot area. Again, we have an acreage. My husband does construction, so we have skid loaders and trailers and things that we're pulling in and out of there. With having the curve of the driveway being that, it makes it difficult to get in and out. We have a shop. I don't know how many of you guys know where we live, but this second driveway goes to a shop where we store items and stuff. And so having that limited driveway compared to what we're used to, it would cause us trouble, and it's not what we expected with this project. So either we would like to have it not paved, and then we would just have the sidewalks, that way it goes with it, or we would like it to go ahead and be extended to what we had as the existing driveway to match what we have in place. And so, based on this, option number 2 is what B&K is recommending to move forward with the 24 foot that was already there. So really, just wanted to give you a background into why not move forward with the plan that was already there. Because in the first driveway, we're gonna have to fix that on our own money, on time, and so we don't want to have a second driveway that's gonna cause us problems.
Can we split this in 2 and talk about the regular driveway and then talk about the second driveway? Do you have anything to add, Forrest?
Oh, sure, fine.
I-
Mayor wanted,
Yeah, well, my thing is that, so the regular driveway, I don't understand what happened there.
It's almost like the whole thing should have been shifted over
Yeah,
5 feet.
yeah, and I mean, I would've been okay with a 24 foot driveway if it would've even my garage door, but it doesn't.
Is the west side of that driveway, is that in the grass area, or I can't really see in the picture, but is it lined up with the existing grass, lined up with a concrete towards your,
The west side.
Correct.
the
Yeah.
west side? So is the west side,
Yes.
is that lined up with the grass?
No, with the con.
It is, okay. The
Concrete
picture's a little deceiving here, so.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
No, it's
It looks like the whole driveway should have been shifted east,
Yeah.
like 6 feet or
Correct.
whatever.
to match up with that little bank berm thing right there.
So, do you have anything on that one, Forrest? On why it looks like it's shifted over on the main
I
driveway?
don't know, did you see the picture?
Jim just showed it. So, yeah. So if you look at that concrete that's there, there's a jog in on the concrete. And so we went so the east edge lines up with that jog, it doesn't line up with the east edge of the garage door. So when we put that 24-foot, we lined up with the concrete back in, and whether we should have shifted that over and then they would pave in that little triangle piece. And then the west side, poured it wider than 24-foot. Yeah, it's a couple, I don't know, not 6 feet, but it's this much feet, it's 2-3 feet kind of thing where that jog is in, but that's what happened.
Was there any conversations with the Coils on saying, hey, should we shift this over, or what's your guys' opinion on
We
this?
tried to stop it, once we saw it was formed like that before it was poured, and we were told,
Hey,
it's
Corey.
too late, that's the plans.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Or,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask the same thing. If I remember right, there's a couple meetings set up for the public to come up and discuss this stuff ahead of time. And I know they had a couple people, attend those meetings, and they voiced their, opinions on stuff to forest. I know one guy wanted, the concrete company build steps down to the sidewalk, and they talked about that and got it addressed. I'm kind of wondering, we're 25% into this project now, and boom, here we got this going on. First it was gravel underneath there, and now we're looking at another, addition to this. Are we obligated to do a 40-foot driveway if they had a 40-foot driveway there?
Oh, Mike, we're on just her main
Oh,
driveway. We're
west-
not talking
west
about the
driveway, yeah.
second driveway yet.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see what you got. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
sorry.
wanted to
It's
split it
fine
into
for you.
two because, my opinion is I think we need to fix this main driveway, but, the second driveway I'm not in favor of, but that's my own opinion. But this main driveway, it's odd the way that it was cut out
Okay,
to me. And when I go out there, and I've talked to Jim about this, is, the one double driveway was put back because it was a double driveway. And the other one was done because it was already there. So I think this should have been the same, that it should have gone farther than the 24 feet for their main driveway to line up. I see where he's talking about it jogs in, and that's where you came
It's
down.
lined up with the taper.
Right, so I see that, but I'm just,
So let's paint Mike a picture real quick. So how far, if we was to fill that void in, is that 3-4 feet wide,
Yeah.
forced by what, 10 feet long?
Oh, it'd make the driveway wider.
Yeah, just to fill in,
Yeah, 3 foot by 10 foot, I suppose it's 10 foot from the sidewalk to the.
if that kind of helps you, Mike. We're talking about a 3-foot by 10-foot area. 10 foot long and 3 foot wide.
I suppose, I think.
Okay.
3.
okay.
But Mike, right before they poured, my son-in-law and myself asked him if we could move the forms over that far. And he said, it's above his call, he can't do that. It would have solved the problem right away, but they said, no, we're pouring, can't do it.
Yeah, and this kind of, my weird point about the plans, I agree, there's meetings, but this, looking at like a plan, again, I don't have background, I would never have guessed that the plan was offsetting it like that.
And it's been like over, the project was on and off, right, so.
do you know about how much it would cost to fix this portion right here?
If the property owner was okay with this expanding the driveway that's there without ripping out the entire driveway and replacing the entire thing, yes, I can answer that. It's, if
You're looking
you
about
3 by 10 divided
a little
by,
over half a yard.
Why would you have to rip out the whole thing? Why can't you just pour a new
Because they're
form?
probably cut, you're saying just to make the cuts cleaner and,
Just pin it.
Because it's appearance wise?
yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it was pinned correctly and that we're not gonna have it expand and stuff separately, that would be fun, but.
yeah, so it would be. Yeah, we're looking at $300.
That's
$250 or $300.
$100, $500 probably.
Yeah, under 500.
Does it take a motion to, if we wanna move forward with that, or?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to fix for driveway.
Okay,
I'll
moved by
second
Morgan,
that.
second by Renzo, how do you vote? Patrick,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Kava,
Now,
Morgan.
I didn't hear the motion very
Oh,
well.
sorry.
Can we just be clear on what we're talking about here?
They're gonna fix a little area to make it line up with her garage, Mike. It's
It was-
just.
It was approximately $300, give or take
Oh,
a few cents, to fix that small portion on their main driveway. And James made the motion to go ahead and proceed to fix main residential driveway. And I
Okay, I just want to be sure what we were talking about. I'll say yes.
Okay, Morgan,
Yes.
Renzo,
Yes.
now the
Okay.
second driveway.
And perfectly fine with that. Then the second driveway, is, the standard driveway width is 24 foot. And you're right, the RV one to the west was already poured, so we didn't
38.
think that we should narrow that up. The other one was a shared driveway, so we replaced the shared driveway because it's kind of two butting each other.
And how wide is that?
The shared driveway? I don't know.
They can go up to
30,
48.
Is it under 48?
Yeah,
So
it's
then
under
it
48.
really shouldn't
Yes.
matter.
So this one, we thought, this is another $1,100 to go from a 24, so it'd be a 30-foot opening. You have 24 at the sidewalks and a 3-foot flare, so it's at the street. And the 24-foot kind of matches back into the property more as 24. They just kind of flared that return as they've come out towards the street from 24 to, or 25 maybe back there, to 35 at the sidewalk, to 45, 46 at the street. And we just didn't feel comfortable making the call on that. And we said, we need to, because it's $1,100 to do that extra wide driveway. And we said, we need to have council have input on this rather than us deciding that exception.
So riddle me this. Why should we make an exception for that driveway if I'll just take Mr. Tissel, Carrie and Mark Tissel's driveway is 24 feet. They're paying for Dean Sackett to come and pave the rest of it. And he would have liked his wider. So why, I don't understand why we're making an exception for one, if there's other on the street that would have liked their driveway wider.
Well, it sounds like we already made a variance just because somebody had it paved versus gravel, right? I don't, from a property owner perspective, I don't think that's right either, yes. I mean,
So it's our existing driveway, and that's where I said, we're okay with option 1, 2 of it not being paved, and that we will have it how we want it. We just do not want 24-foot paved and then expanding on both sides.
So we can just maybe just meet in the middle and we just say, okay, no driveway, just put the sidewalk and be done with it.
So, yeah, that was another alternative in there, was to not do it. DOT says we can't put gravel back in there. DOT will not let us put gravel up against the sidewalk. So it'd have to be dirt and grass, and then, then later, if you want to take that dirt and grass out and do whatever you want, you could do that.
And you guys are okay with that?
Perfectly fine with it. We just don't want a paved small driveway.
Will was saying though to me, it's pretty iffy if they drive across it and break the concrete, but I said, they'll probably redo it anyway, because they're gonna have rebar all the way through, like Paul Shipman's.
Yeah.
It won't be just a little bit of gravel, it'll be a decent drive.
Correct.
Or would you guys, another option would be, would you be willing to pay the $1,100 difference to make it wider? If we put in a 24-foot driveway, you pay the extra to get it wide. Is that an option for you?
That's an option as well,
As
yes.
long as we know for sure, because the communication that we got was that could be additional costs and stuff like that. I mean, if I know that $1,100 is what I pay, cool.
I was gonna say, that might be a little cheaper on your end,
Right,
Yeah,
While
no,
they're
that's perfect.
while they're there. Yeah.
while they're there.
Yeah.
So you're okay with that option also?
I'm fine with that, yeah. We just don't want, because if we have a 24-foot, and here's what, so they're not putting rebar right in. So to expand to bigger, I would want to drive with rebar. And so then I have the additional cost of tearing up the entire thing that they've already done and redoing it. If they'll do it right now and I just pay that additional cost, I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with 24-foot in the middle of it. So either way, it's fine.
We need a motion to have him
Do you
raise
want
a
a rebar in
different,
there then as well?
Empty agreed on.
That'd be, might be a little extra
I
for
was
the
gonna say that'd be
rebar.
additional cost.
I mean,
of steel.
if you guys could do the rebar now, I would prefer that way. Because like I said, I mean, we have a skid loader, a trailer, we have fairly heavy equipment going in.
I'll make a motion. I'll say,
So you would pay if it costs more, Brandy, for the rebar, you would pay the
Like, how
additional?
much, a couple hundred?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yes.
Okay.
my motion will be, I will, if the
Can,
homeowner pays the additional amount, if agreed upon by the homeowner, they go ahead with expanding it, and if not agreed upon by the homeowner, we don't do the driveway, just the
Sidewalk.
Okay.
makes sense for
and
that.
then
Good with
also
that?
your 1,100 plus cost of rebar, we'll accept responsibility for that and we'll pay for that.
You good with that, horse?
And they,
Yeah, I'm good with that. That would
Okay,
need to be
most
paid
people
to
in section
the
one.
agreement to the city
Okay.
for that.
Yep, yep.
So how do you vote? For Patrick?
Yes.
Dolly?
yes,
Cobal?
I'm just gonna say, one thing I'm concerned about is if we have another homeowner that wanted to pave their driveway, would they get as good a deal on it? Also, are we ready to accept that responsibility? So I'm gonna vote no.
Okay. Morgan? Renzo?
Yes.
Okay. And thank you, Forrest and Brandy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a couple questions for you.
Oh, I'm
Forrest.
here for a long time.
I know, but on that, my question was, have you driven past the new sidewalk?
I meant to tonight, but I had a bunch of stuff
Okay.
I needed to talk
The
about.
question, I mean, Jim's probably knows it. The wall's like this.
Oh, the wall.
Yeah, the wall.
It has different elevation, yes.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It looks to me like
the retaining wall,
with the retain, you take a good look at it.
If it's not dark by the time.
Okay,
we leave,
and then
I'll take a
another
look.
question,
It won't be.
I'd ask, the weed holes that's coming out,
Mhm.
is that gonna put water and freeze right on that sidewalk in the winter?
You need to have that to let the pressure out.
Yeah, I don't realize that.
I'll have to check on that.
Okay.
You're hitting me cold on the retaining
they
wall.
probably grade
I'm
that,
sorry.
do they grade the sidewalk away from that retaining wall
They
at a certain
do, there's a
degree?
slope,
Yeah.
yeah, but
So hopefully, and then
So it's,
It slopes
I mean,
towards
it's
the
gonna move
street.
the water.
Yeah.
my other question is, Jim won't like this idea, but there's no way in heck you can run a snow blower and blow your snow over that wall. I know how high mine blows. It's gonna have to go out or keep blowing it on either east or west.
yeah. I mean, isn't there like 10 feet between the street and the sidewalk, something like that?
Probably close.
Yeah, so.
Maybe that's-
When we put our wing down, that sidewalk's gonna be full. I'm just telling you, that wing's about
Let you
72
wing it to
inches.
the- Wing it to the south,
Mayor, there wasn't anything we could do on the height of that.
The wing's only on one side of the truck.
go the opposite. You can't.
Drive up
I don't
One
know.
pass.
I just know when
I know
I
where
put
the
that
one
outside,
pass
well,
is.
you got, not gonna move it the next morning.
There's nothing I
Okay,
can do, Mayor, on the height of the wall, but I'll look at the waviness and the.
and then one other question. Jim caught on an intersection, there wasn't enough gravel right before they tried to pour. He said they dug it out, added more gravel. And then where Cappy Tom's house is, they tore out a whole bunch of concrete. The inspectors from B&K don't check on that at all?
No, they should. We have him bouncing back and forth between
Okay.
the sidewalk and the Wamble project.
I mean, I don't want to put them on the spot, but I see a lot of the workers out there and the guys are sitting in the air-conditioned pickup. See them out very often, but that's a big mistake on Cappy's. Yeah, Jim?
The street crossings, it wasn't that they didn't have enough rock, they did not have enough concrete depth.
Concrete.
They were
Yeah.
confused and only made a 6-inch crossing instead of an 8-inch
8
crossing.
inch, yeah. Okay.
Once I brought it to their attention, they came in, they took all the rock out, they removed the dirt, put the rock
But
back
they
in,
wouldn't pour it if you wouldn't have caught them.
probably.
Yeah, that morning. Okay, that's all I have for you.
Thanks, Buzz.
Great, thank you.
And we got other stuff.
I know, I'll be back.
A lot of other stuff. Okay, where are we at?
So,
7. More infractions, okay. We've got 48 hours notice for mowing. I'm about the only one that says, well, this place needs mowed. Jim and Corey say, but then we gotta get all the police. Police gotta give the notice. It's the same people, time and time again, that who give the notices to. And one lady, she doesn't mow until after she gets her notice. And it could possibly be quite a few weeks by the time the police give it to the city gets Jim's ready to mow, or whoever. And I'm wanting to know if we can send this to our lawyer and say, if you get a first notice, a second notice for mowing, you get a $50 fine. It's the same habitual offenders all the time. Because it's a waste of my time, the police, Jim, and everybody.
Well, I mean, my gut reaction is no.
No.
I mean, you're gonna have those people, it's the same with the code enforcement, you're gonna have the same people over and over and over again. But if they're getting it mowed in that 48 hours, I mean, that's just part of the game.
Well, they're not. I mean,
Well, then they get, so if they don't get it mowed, then they do get the fine, because somebody goes and does it, but if they get it done within that 48 hours, then they get it done. I mean, it's kind of like the police constantly getting called to the same person for the same thing over and over again. Do they get to start charging them for their time? Does rescue get to start charging people for, medical problems, and then it's patient refusal every time? I mean, that's just part of the thing. But that's my opinion.
Okay, move on.
Number 8.
7, 8, okay, Andy Forrest has a note 8/11/23 written here that he cannot attend this meeting. But this has been going on for 6 years. I had Sarah figure out the difference between commercial and electric rate. Right there is $15 a month versus $33 a month for electric. Jason sent the letter, hope everybody's seen it. $15 a day is not inspiring action. This issue has been going on for 6+ years. It is clear zoning infraction need to be resolved. Plans and permits are easily had within 30 days. He has had to give an ample opportunity to comply. Please take this into council consideration. I had a banker figure on a $200,000 loan. That's $13,600 interest, and it's $37 a day. So that $15 is nothing. On last year, 8/16, it was voted on to fine him $15. Originally, the fine was $100, and there's a different motion made. Well, the first notice to Andy was given 3/17/2017, violation of code for illegal business. 4/10/2017, the council gave 1-year extension, get his business located in commercial, stop running out of the home. The next notice violations 1/18/18, which states you have failed to make any changes and inspection include violations as stated above. 4/10/18, you give another 3 months extension. 8/29/18, Central Iowa Police purchased property at South Summit and Southwest 6th, which is commercial area. That was clear back in 18. 9/10/18, he appeared in front of the council and were instructed to talk with Jason, the commercial zoning administrator, and B&K on your building plans. Then there's numerous messages and no response back to the council. 2020, a 1-year extension again was given to allow Andy Forrest to relocate his business. Nothing has been done to show in good faith by you, and no building permit has been issued. No contact has been made with the commercial zoning administrator, and you continue to run an illegal business from your home. This was back in 2020, and this is still happening. Beverly Wild sent a letter and it was gonna close him down. The first offense, if you get shut down, was $750. Repeat offense, not to exceed 1,000. This was October 11th, 2021. He was told to secure a building permit and construction of a building auto. Well, nothing's been done. We give him a $15 fine a year ago. There's no response to the city, no response to Jason. Jason said within 30 days, I said the slowest person in the world, how long would it take to get architectural plans? He said 8 to 10 weeks. We're a year out now, and nothing's happened. This is 6 full years now. My problem is that I try and force all this other mowing and zoning administration, everything else. And the town cleanups when we do, the people get their final infraction, they have 10 days to get rid of the junk, and we'll go and take care of it. There's gonna be one just shortly that's gonna happen to. And it's hard to enforce this after 6 years. So Jason and I had talked, and his recommendation, do what Beverly does, and just shut her down.
Okay, so respectively, I think that you're spot on. I think we need. The thing that I don't like is the fact that Mr. Forrest wasn't notified that he was gonna be on the agenda. And while I think something needs to happen and we need to address it, I think it's also our duty to give him notice that we're putting him on the agenda. I think anyone would like to be put on an agenda and spoke about when they can't be present. So that for me, that's not, I mean, somebody could have called him last week and been like, hey, Andy, we're gonna talk, about your business. Out of respect, we could have at least given him that.
But out of respect, he should have
No,
contacted
Like I
us.
said, I get where we need to go. I just think it would have been respectful to let him know he was on the agenda, because all 3 times we've talked about him, he's never been notified that he was on the agenda, which isn't right, and what he's doing isn't right. I'm completely in agreement with that. His weeds out behind Gus's are taller than my 6'3" son. I mean, I get it. I just wish that somebody would have called him to notify him so he could have been here.
But like I'm saying, he did not notify us. He's paid his $15 fine, but not once got hold of Jason and said, oh, here, I've just got done with the plans.
And
A whole year, and this is 6 years going on now.
And I'm pretty sure when we talked to him last year about that, he was supposed to talk with Mr. Funk every 30 days. Contact you.
That was before you
The penalty.
passed the $15 a day penalty.
I mean, on a high note, at least he's paying it. He could just be sticking it and just letting it collect.
I agree with both sides. I do think that we should have reached out to him. But I also agree, just a higher fine, doubling the fine every so often, whatever it might be, to get him moving again, because it seemed like for a while there he was rolling when the back was against the wall. So I get it. My personal opinion on this, I think we have to table it because I think he needs to be here. That's my personal opinion.
But if we do go ahead and say, well, we're gonna raise the fine, but like I said, just on interest on $200,000 loan, I would stay in that building forever for $15. It's half the price,
Right.
half the price of what
I mean, I
interest is.
completely agree, we need to raise it, and we need to say, 6 months it's 100, next 6 months it's 200, or whatever it's gonna be. We need to make it steep, and we need to bring it up every month, maybe it's every month, it's $100 more.
Bring it up or shut it down.
And maybe he'll come in and slap on the table and laugh at us and say, yeah, which would be great. Wish he would have done 10 months ago, but
I think we should probably start increasing the fine, probably ASAP, to get his attention. Yeah, it's been going on for so long. I do agree. We should have probably reached out to him, let him know that he should be here. I agree totally on that. But this has been going on for 6+ years and way before I was even on. And-
Before Mike and I were even on.
Right, so this has been going on for a long time. I think if we increase, the fine, we could probably make a motion on that tonight and still allow him to come next month. And that way his business isn't shut down, but we're kind of telling him that we're serious
I mean, we can
here.
up it tonight, but then, I mean, like, every month, we
Yeah.
can say, we're upping it another $100 or whatever it might be, but we need to have every month it needs to go up X, so it just keeps getting higher and
Because
higher
the lawyer
and
said
higher.
it's too much of a comfort zone right now.
Right, which I
Saying
agree with.
$15 a day. Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so didn't we have another business that opened up that was doing some rock carving and stuff? Did the council find them to begin with,
You
or
mean
did
Tyson,
they get shut down?
Tyson Greenwald?
Yeah, I think
No,
that's who
he
it was.
shut down on
Did
it.
they get fined or
No,
shut down?
He had so much time. Mick Aspen was the zoning administrator at the time. Said, you have so much time to get done. He did the right thing, got building put up. Yeah. His argument, Mike, to me was, well, my neighbors don't mind. And I said, your neighbors are older. If you had a young family, young children, yes, they would mind skid loaders and trucks going in there. You're clearly in a residential area, so he did the right thing and put up a new building right away.
Sure, no, and I get that. I guess my point was, we talked about getting tough, and back in February of 2022, I sat up there and talked with Andy and said, this is your last chance. You agree with that? Yeah, he agreed with that. And I thought everybody on the council agreed with that. And then we gave him an extension on this. And we can sit here and say, well, we're gonna increase the fine month after month. That's not what's in our ordinance, although we can do that. What risk are we running and message are we sending out to other people, on this? I think, yes, he needs to be notified. That would have been, in my view, the proper thing. But it's gotta come to a time where it's like, you know what? This is it, this is not the fun part of our job, but we gotta enforce these ordinances equally, amongst everybody on that.
We can't compare it to other people, we can't compare it to Tyson, because, I mean, didn't Brandy just say, yeah, we run a business out of here and we have skid loaders that go, well, if her neighbors aren't complaining, you know what I'm saying, it's the same. You can't compare businesses to businesses, because if the neighbors aren't complaining, then it's not the same, because Andy's neighbors aren't complaining.
Yes, it did.
But I'm not,
That's how I
I'm not
originally knew
comparing
about
the
it.
business, I'm comparing it's an ordinance on an illegal business.
Because Stu Hunter will stand up here time and time again and tell you it does not matter.
Go ahead, Mike.
If Brandy's business was an illegal business according to the ordinance, it would need to be shut down per the ordinance. It's not whether their neighbors are complaining it's an illegal business, is what I'm saying.
I thought, administrator, that your business is fine until you're impeding on your neighbor's rights. So like if you had a daycare and the daycare people were impeding on your rights as a neighbor, then you can shut them down. But if they're not impeding and they're not bothering your everyday life, then they're fine, is the way I understood it.
Code is specific to an auto repair
No,
business.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But the rock business and everybody else, we can't compare Andy to all those because it's completely
So
different.
what's the council want to do? Have a fine right tonight or wait till September? What I'm afraid of, we have 2 council people, possibly won't be here after November, 2 new people. We've had it passed on to council. I've been here 14 years. This has been going on 6 years, council after council, just keep passing on.
I would just like him to be present. Like, I think we need to move the fine, and I think I agree with everything you're saying, I just think he needs to be present, he needs to be told.
You're thinking the fine tonight to open up his eyes?
Not for me, no.
Let's throw a special council meeting in 2 weeks and just have
Then
him
do
be
it.
here in 2 weeks.
Do it, I mean, that's
See,
fine
we don't
with
have
me.
to
Wait a whole month.
But if you give him 2 weeks' notice and he cannot be here, then that's not our problem. We gave him 2 weeks' notice, we set a date, As long as we notify him tomorrow and say, hey, we're having a special council meeting now, and you're on the agenda. If he doesn't show, then that's his, that's his choice,
What's
but at
that
least he
cost,
knew.
Ash? Huh?